Yeah, I'm Martha Niño. I'm a Silicon Valley senior leader of over a quarter century. I'm also part of the only 2% of Latinas in tech. I'm a speaker. Thank you. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, and I'm also a CEO of a nonprofit that gives back books to students for hope. Yeah. Now, up until about a few years ago, I had only done one of those things. To be honest, all of it makes me a little bit uncomfortable because some of us have been taught to lay low and be quiet about what we do and who we are. You see, I was once undocumented, so this speaking thing is complicated. Then a couple things happened back to back that tested my quiet. Now, I work at a top tech company, and in my spare time, I give tours to students in hopes to inspire them towards a career in tech. And on one of these tours, a Latino high school student with tears in his eyes looks at me and says, "I don't think I can ever be here." In that moment, I broke my quiet and I said, "Yes, you can. Yo soy tú. I am you." And a couple months passed, and that company was looking for live stories for a chance to be on a stage. And I've dreamt of being on a stage, but not with my life story. So nervously, I hit yes to my submission, which I actually like to call my admission. And I did end up on stage in the brightest pink blouse possible. This was the opposite of laying low and being quiet. Now, I started noticing ripples that day. Ripples were like the butterfly effect. Requests for talks and podcasts. And on one of those podcasts, I was asked, how is it that somebody with so many obstacles ends up okay? Legit question. I unpacked that, and I came up with 4 words that start with the letter H. Hope, help, hustle, and heart. Hope, help, hustle, heart. Now, hope, my story. I was born in Mexico in a shack with no running water and no electricity. My crib, a dresser drawer box. This is my grandma's house, by the way. My parents picked cotton for a living, educated to 2nd and 6th grade only. Was this going to be their life? Was it going to be mine? So they decided they were going to take a risk. They were going to cross to El Norte, the other side, el otro lado. So with a bag of belongings in one hand and me in the other, they said bye to their loved ones, not knowing when or if they'd see them again. The journey to the border began. Now, at the border, the tour guide's rules were very, very clear. Adults would travel in the dark. Lay low. Be quiet. No niños. What? No niños? No kids? In that moment, my mother was given 2 options. Either she goes back to picking cotton, or she hands me to a stranger to pass in a car and hope that we'd reunite. Imagine giving your child to a stranger and hoping. Look at my mother's hands. We did make it to the other side. We ended up in Northern California, and it wasn't the tech valley you know of today. There was factories and fields. And our $60 a month, one-bedroom duplex home with spray paint and graffiti was our home. My parents painted right over that. And before long, there were so many people living in our house. As a matter of fact, my two brothers were born, and my parents opened the door to anybody that needed help. There was people in the living room. There was people in the kitchen. There was people in the hallway. Nobody knew because we lay low and we were quiet. Now, the only speaking that was going on was me translating everything from conversations to documents. I was the chief translating officer. So it wasn't too bad. We had running water, we had electricity, we had work, and my parents worked, and they took any job that they could. And by the time I was 14 years old, I worked in a cold warehouse with my mother. And I was horrible at it. I needed help. Help is my second H. So, this brings me to Beth. Beth was the owner of that cold warehouse where we manufactured ceramic lamps and vases, and she had blonde hair and blue eyes and pearls. And she calls me into the office. I thought I was fired. And she says, "Can you answer phones?" "Oh, yeah, I could do that." "Can you file?" "No, but can you teach me?" "Mm-hmm." "Can you take a typing class?" "Okay." All right. Beth opened the door to a completely different world. She opened the door to an office that I didn't have to clean. I liked it. It was warm, and there was donuts. My second helper, my believer, my high school counselor. I was kicked out of school. I ended up at a continuation school. Supposedly, I was a bad influence. But the kids here were not bad. We were just going through heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. And the counselor asked me what I was going through. And I was quiet. And finally, I said, "Look, I have to work. My father's dying of cancer, and I have to help pay the bills." And he said, "Okay." He wrote me a list. And he says, "If you do all of that, you can graduate." And I hustled, checking this and that off. And I did graduate. Thank you. Thank you. That felt good. All right, my third, Ken. I needed a job, $15 an hour. I called a job agency, because there was no LinkedIn back then. And I said, "Just get me a job that pays me $15 an hour." They say, "Show up on Monday. You're going to be working at a sand company." Sand? Okay. I end up arriving on Monday, and there was no sand anywhere. As a matter of fact, it turned out to be a sound company. Do I run? I needed $15 an hour. I didn't run. I liked it there. The people were cool, smart. There was donuts. Ken calls me into the office because he saw me hustle. And he says, "Where do you see yourself in the future?" Future? He caught on. He drew 2 lines on the board representing professional pathways. The short one, the one I was on, I could have stayed there. It was fine. And a really long one. I've been on that long one for over 25 years. All of these people helped somebody who needed support, words. It wasn't complicated. An open door, a list, a line. Let's not overcomplicate help. Right? And all of these people, they saw me hustle. And I didn't even talk about Jason, who helped me with my voice. For all these kinds of people, you can't help but hustle, which brings me to my third H, and you probably have heard me say hustle a few times by now. All the believers in the world, all the helpers in the world are nothing if you don't hustle. I'll say that again. All the believers, all the help in the world are nothing if you don't hustle. And nothing will happen on the couch. This part is all you. All of those people saw me hustle. Beth, I was filing away. Typing, 1987, by the way. That high school counselor dangled that diploma in front of me. I became an overnight scholar. And Ken, computers, donuts. It was awesome. And all of those people felt heart from me. Hustle must be seen. Hustle must be felt. Heart, the last H. Seems like the easiest, right? Just be you. Just be you. If you're quiet, be quiet. If you're loud, be loud. If you're silly, be silly. And if you're broken, don't hide it. There's a Japanese tradition called kintsugi that when a ceramic vase breaks, they don't throw it away. They mend it with glue. It's cracks, proof that it's been through things. I like to think of us humans that way. Imagine if we didn't hide our broken. Maybe other people would realize that their breaks are just proof of overcoming. So heart, just be you. What a journey, huh? What a journey. All of it interconnected, the good and the bad, all of it rippling me to this stage right here, and I've learned a lot. Our stories, when we own our stories, we can help heal us. But when we release them, we can help heal others. And this is about others. And you, as you are, can help. There are millions of people, millions, who are ashamed, who are scared, who are laying low, who are being quiet today. Maybe they have no voice. Maybe they have no choice. Your from the heart story can be that kintsugi that somebody needs to feel better. And that feeling, that's healing. Ripple that everywhere. Now me, like many, come from somewhere else. Me from Mexico, a grass shack with no running water, no electricity. My parents wanted a better life for me. Mama, Papa, esto es mejor. Mom and Dad, this is better. Now, I was told at the border that I made too much noise. They were right. Make noise with me. H's, hope, help, hustle, heart, heart. This little girl was so lost. Many helped her. This little girl, she needed a job. She got a career. This little girl was told she was a bad influence. She gives books of hope to students. This little girl was scared to speak. She's still scared to speak. But if you're seeing this, do not lay low. You must speak. Your story is not for you. It's for everyone else. Gracias.